Today, I'm going to rank all 18 secret tracks in Mario Kart World that are exclusive to Mario Kart World's free roam mode via P-Switch missions. I'm going to rank these based on how fun they are and how much I would want to play these tracks and select them in versus mode. Number 18 is the track that I am calling Beachside Surf. These are all missions, so they all just are named based on what mission they are, but I'm just coming up with custom names for these tracks just to make it simple for everyone around. And this one's just rough because you're racing on half sand and half water. I'm not too much of a fan of the water driving in this game, especially when it's in a straight line like this and there's no ripples for you to get tricks off of. So going from very harsh off-road like the sand here to the water, yeah, you can get a couple of fun tricks, but it's just a simple oval that has nothing to it. So I do think there are just much better P-Switch missions and exclusive tracks than this one. Number 17 is Big Donut. Now this is a battle course in Mario Kart World, of course, and it works as a battle track, right? But as a stage, as a race track, I'm not really a big fan of it. Sure, it's a relatively fun P-Switch mission because you have the big bullies and you have Boom Boom spinning around throughout the track, but it's not enough. The track is just way too wide and all the dash food doesn't really help here for this mission. So I don't think it would really convert well into an actual racetrack. It's just a giant simple circle with not much going on, and that's why I had to rank it this low. Number 16 is Koopa Beach 1, and this one pains me because Koopa Beach 1 is my absolute favorite track in Super Mario Kart, but the fact that I had to rank it this low is just really unfortunate. I get that they translated it well in this game, but honestly, they did all the other SNES tribute tracks so much better. This one's just very flat, and at least the sand doesn't give you too much off-road this time around like the first beach track we talked about. As much as I love Koopa Beach 1 from the original Super Mario Kart, it just didn't really work well here in my opinion. Number 15 is the track that I am calling Deserted Island. You can find this in between Wario Shipyard and Peach Beach, and this one's okay. Again, it just has the same problem. A lot of water driving and beach/sand driving for its off-road. You can have a couple of ramps here, which are cool. The ripples are a little bit sharper now, so you can have more opportunities for tricks. And I really love the part at the end of the track where you just have to go up the giant ship mast that is buried in the sand. Probably one of the better beach themed tracks for the P-Switch mission exclusive tracks here in Mario Kart World. Number 14, I'm calling Canyon Spontaneity. This one is around the Whistle Stop Summit area, and this one's fine, but once again, we're stuck with water driving. This one's simple. It's got some ripples for some tricks and some ramps, which is cool, but when you get off of the water, you're running to some rough off-road, which I get it. It's a P-Switch mission. Of course it is. Not the most fun terrain to be driving on, so in that instance, that's why it has to be ranked this low. Number 13, I'm going Choco Island 2. Now, both Choco Island 1 and Choco Island 2 got remade here in Mario Kart World as P-Switch mission tribute tracks. This one is just okay. I think they overscaled it maybe a little bit too much, which is crazy for me to say. Mario Kart World actually overscaling something, but they did. Look how massive Choco Island 2 is. In my opinion, there's not too much opportunity for crazy shortcuts in this track compared to Choco Island 1. Choco Island 2's design in general is just very outdated and not very fun to me. Number 12, I'm going Vanilla Lake. Now, I'm a little bit confused why they didn't just name this Vanilla Lake 1. This is so very clearly Vanilla Lake 1, but they just said tribute to Vanilla Lake. I do like the ice physics. It gives a nice little change of pace. The off-road is actually rather challenging to get around, so it makes for a pretty fun and interactive track to race on. So we're starting to get to the tracks that are relatively more fun to race on, and I could see actually maybe becoming selectable versus race tracks one day. Number 11 is Ghost Valley 2. Now, all three Ghost Valley tracks, Ghost Valley 1, 2, and 3 got made in the Boo Cinema area as tribute tracks for the Super Mario Kart game, but Ghost Valley 2 unfortunately has to be my least favorite of the three. It has a crazy huge gap cut that is so wide now, you need a feather to complete it, but this part's my least favorite. Unfortunately, it actually forces you to drive in the mud and slow you down on purpose, kind of like that Choco Island ramp at the beginning of the track. Not very fun for me, unfortunately, but I do like the atmosphere of the track. It's fun, and Ghost Valley 2 is always a good time in general. Number 10 is the P-Switch mission called Immersive Movie. That's what I'm naming the track at this point. It's basically inside of Boo Cinema's theater, but with the T-Rex from Dino Jungle chasing after you and a bunch of other animals like bison. It's a very interactive track with a lot of obstacles, and that's what I like about it. The atmosphere is fantastic, and I like that you're racing inside the theater of Boo Cinema. However, the track design itself is so simple. It's basically a triangle. It's too short, and I feel like they should have made made this one a little bit longer. Number 10, I'm calling Endurance Wasteland. This is on the highway between Mario Bros. Circuit and Wario Stadium. It's a larger track, therefore only 2 laps of a track are played here in the P-Switch mission as opposed to 3 from most of the other tracks here that we're talking about. So you get a glider section that can take you all the way to the other highways. So going from one highway to the other is a lot of fun. You are in a lot of off-road for the most part, but it's not that bad in my opinion. I don't mind racing on the highways, and you'll eventually get back on the off-road to glide over and jump into a small pool of water, but with how high you're falling, you'll get a pretty large ripple effect. I find this one relatively fun because of how huge it is. Number 8 is what I'm calling Savannah Endurance. This is basically what Faraway Oasis should have been in terms of the obstacles that are on the track. You're going to be racing against these ostriches the entire way through with this Savannah Endurance track, and you'll also have the giraffes and elephants standing right next to you on the track, and you can theoretically run into them. Not much to it in terms of the design, but again, the atmosphere, the vibes, that's basically what we're going for here for these very simple P-Switch mission themed tracks. There's not much to the designs themselves, unfortunately, but I do like racing on this because it is on the road. Just more fun to race with the full speed stat all the way up. Number 7 is Choco Island 1. Yeah, how did Choco Island 1 get so much ranked higher than Choco Island 2? I'm not sure. Immediately, you just have a great shortcut, the good corner cut that you can take a ramp and cut everything over. I really like the design compared to the other Choco Island 2 track. I find this one to just be a little bit more fun to race on. The paths are a little bit more narrow, which is weird because Choco Island 2 is pretty infamous for its narrow paths, but they decided to make narrow paths in Choco Island 1. Regardless, Choco Island 1 is a fun track to me, and that's why I had to put it up here. Editing GWallPro here to say I made a little bit of a mistake. I forgot to add one track to the list that needed to be counted, so I'm going to include it right here. This one is called Dragoneel Race. This would be right in between Choco Island 1 and the next track on this list, but I simply forgot to include it. This was the one P-Switch mission that I missed. I went through all 394 missions on a YouTube video, and I also 100%ed the P-Switch missions and all of free roam. So my apologies, I guess, for missing that one. I completely forgot about it, but this one's definitely one of the better water tracks for sure. You get to ride on a Dragoneel. It takes you through some water for the first half of the track, and then you can use some ramps to get on top of a autumn leaves section, and just overall a pretty scenic track. Number 6 is what I'm calling Amateur Track. This one's pretty much on the outside of Peach Stadium, but it's got a nice vibe to it. I really like the environment that we're racing on. Once again, huge bonus points for not being in off-road. You'll start to see spikes and other enemies interfering with the track as well. So not only is this a relatively more complex circle or square type track, but you're dealing with a lot of oncoming traffic as well as various obstacles throughout the track, and I think this makes it slightly more interactive. Number 5, I'm going Ghost Valley 3. Yeah, Ghost Valley 3, the track that has yet to get remade in any marker game with the exception of this one, kind of. And I put it up here just because this is quite simply the most complex design of all the P-Switch exclusive tracks that we will be talking about today. It's Ghost Valley 3. It's a special cup track by nature. You got Boolossus over there in the middle of the track that can freak you out, so a little bit of interference there. Very faithful to the original Ghost Valley 3 design, and I like that a lot because I do enjoy racing on Ghost Valley 3 and Super Mario Kart as well. It's a pretty tricky track. I think this one was a lot well designed compared to Ghost Valley 2. Number 4, I'm calling Daredevil Canyon Loop. This one is right on the outside of Whistle Stop Summit, and it's a pretty simple track by design, but it's got a lot of grolls here right at the beginning of the track to pose quite a threat to you. And then immediately you take a very short ramp to go on a very, very high drop to fall into some water. You're not going to last too long in the water, but the fact that the drop was just so high and so immediate makes this track feel so much more fun. A little bit of water here and there, but simply the presence of the grolls around the start of the track and then the very, very high jump to get you down to the water makes this track a really fun one for me. I don't know about you guys. Number 3, I'm calling this one Wild Woodlands. Now, I debated whether including this track on this list or not, but it does have the lap counter on the bottom left corner. Even if it's a 1-lap track, it's the only 1-lap track P-Switch mission. This one is definitely one of the more complex tracks. It takes you through the intermission between Mario Circuit and Acorn Heights, which is a lot of fun. It has a really long glider section, which a lot of these P-Switch exclusive tracks are missing, and it takes you through just some complex environments, which I appreciate. There's some shortcut potential here, cutting through a lot of these corners with the off-road, but the 1-lap track obviously has the advantage because it can be the longest track and it can be that sort of endurance test. Number 2, this might shock some of you guys, but I'm actually going Ghost Valley 1. Yeah, still, of all the 3 Ghost Valley tracks in Mario Kart World that got tribute tracks, I'm going Towering Ghost Valley one is my favorite. I think this one just was scaled perfectly. It's got all the ramps that were added. You can take a lot of corner cuts by just cutting from one side of the boardwalk to the other. And of course, the freaking shortcut at the end. The shortcut does take a little bit of skill. You can charge jump into the little pole that's right before the shortcut and then trick off of that to complete the shortcut. It's a lot of fun. I had to rank it this high because I could see this legitimately becoming a selectable versus race track. But number one, I had to go with the race that takes place inside Bowser's castle. I'm calling it Minion Mayhem because this one, it almost doesn't even look like you're taking turns. It doesn't feel like a circle. It feels like you're taking sharp turns in just on this endurance test across swamps and potaboos and so many enemies that you have to get away from and sidestep. It's really cool, but you do complete laps on this track, and that's just because the track is slanted. A lot of enemies that you have to avoid, and it has a shortcut where you can use a mushroom to just cut through the lava. It might not be the hardest shortcut out of all the P-Switch exclusive tracks, but it's so satisfying. And the ramp to cut through the lava at the end of the track and then just beat out the Sumo Bros to start the next lap. This track is so satisfying as a P-Switch mission, and I feel bad that it's just a P-Switch mission, but man, I love it. The atmosphere is incredible. I love the dark, the thunderous aura, and my goodness, I would love to race on this track. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a very, very simple video, this one, but I am working on a couple of massive videos for the channel, and I just had to get something out for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this interesting concept. Definitely let me know in the comments below which P-Switch exclusive tracks you'd want to race on. Let me give a shout out to my Wall of Gold members. We got T-Main, Jesse Wadler, Escape, Sparky Wolf, Millow 108, E for Every Gamer Plus, Rogue 3, Cyneva, Cats, Jack M44, Cool IB, Sauce, Captain Mudkip, Ritz Games, Violet Sky Productions, Lila, and DJ Beatcraft. You guys are incredible. All my members are incredible as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You guys mean the world to me. I truly appreciate your guys' extra support, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Everybody else that's watching, be sure to subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, so it would really help me out if you can subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay all pro, and I'm out of here.